Alright, ebusianfo mema mu nyina akwa ba mesre se unya dran ne abomode na share na like and keep your comments coming send be adwumadie no ebetimi akọ nanim Kwame Lobos mechiao na Milan so mechiao Sweet na so mechiao King George greetings King George and Roberto Marin so Roberta mechiao Dottie Augustine mechiao right sorry mesre say wodwane abomode na share send be adwumadie ne betimi akọ nanim information ababeto mensa na mu ho screen so no Russia issues with Ukraine is still ongoing. Na Ukraine former penny no wama eye emofra the aged ene yenuano ma wama omo ho kwan se omutimi free eye Ukraine esiki refuge in Poland and other neighboring countries. Now so mema omo edimfie between 18 to 60 they are not allowed to seek refuge or say omo enka Ukraine ho na omo fight to save not only their capital but their country Ukraine. And African students who are also locked up in Ukraine are not being allowed. For Africans, the information means can say both women and men are not being allowed to exit Ukraine. Okay, all right. Now, in the first place, yenua number say yenua number mu so-called feminist. Mono feminism no more taken to the next level. Feminism no more say feminism is a fight against men. I'm not against if a woman is a feminist, as in the right way they say. A man super say almost no ye empower or mona almost at least. They will not always be at the ladder. Now say at the bottom of the food chain. What you say? I'm not against that. Now so ye a ma binum or almost feminism no. Or ma fani say as a hatred against men. Most are for no who say we say no matter how much, and I say no matter how long we wanna fight against each other, there is always what we call gender roles. Mo say entokwa eba Ukraine no, yama ema any mofra ho kwan say mo de monko, emema de monka ho na monko. Meboa, mo hwe, muntie me yo. Entokwa ba Ukraine no, yama ema any mofra any nkokrafo ne merewa kwan say mo de monko. Yempese mu bewu mo de mo mpe ba bi mfa na mo nkobọ mo ho adwa na mo mmọ mo ho ban na emum emmema de mo nka ha na mo nko uwu a wawu nso a wanyankwa enti won say in society no we are different we are oba we are different we are bema nso a we are different we are bema bu oba emma rose are different we are oba nso a bu bema emma rose are different Bema rules different. Sa concept no na ye nananom ti asienti a. Sa mre no on say na ye marriage system no na adwuma. Men and women were living in harmony under marriage. But and it sounds so called Western civilization. It sounds so called I know my right. It sounds so called and I why ti ama binum asori etia mema. In the name of being feminist, in the name of I know my right, in the name of you can't tell me shit, in the name of you can't tell me fuck. They say more gender roles. Men will always fight. Men will always be left behind. Men will always share their blood to protect women, children, the aged and the vulnerable. Enti se mo komo feminism conference na eya mo kai mema. Eya mo who say in every situation and mema, and men will continue to be men. Now, yentuaso. Yemisa ya ho say, enti ena yama ho kwan ama ebinum say omutimi dwane free Ukraine. Now so black people there yama omo aka Ukraine na yempese ombe free eye Ukraine. Abrofuni nim say yen Africans eba physical strength. Africans are very strong by the way. Eba ahoden Pass physical strength, Africans are very strong. Eba pupo 101. I'm telling you, say, Abrofono, they can never fit Africans. Now, so Africans, sorry to say, we have the physical strength, but we lack the mental capability. Yema ya dweno enye adwuma abrebiano yema ye body mom na eye adwuma Na esan say ye maya dwen no nya adwumenti no abribia no ye body ne bre. Into Ukraine for black people now, omo enya in their midst, they want to make use of those black people. Therefore, the other people can go. Now, so black people there, so your bow, so your bema, you don't have the right to go. The same thing happened when they came to Africa. They came to take us as captives. On bechi esenkwa edie kwa abrochire kwa ye juma inkutu juma. Africans are the ones who built America. And then and then me travel history, me update sabi, madrin kakra. Africans are the ones who built America. Africans are the ones who helped in building all these so-called advanced countries. Yadi ya huode, no na machines ni hosa, no na ye new level area siadri. Africa for yadi ya huode ena a building so-called Western civilization and they just say ya pa chew. Ansana, yet me ako omo nchen ako sum omo. Enya a plate of food. Why? Because yama yadreno anya juma. Me pesa yesua bibi free the tension between Ukraine and Russia nya ekosui. One say nowhere safe. Over Africa and tokwa say amene kasa Syria is on fire in the Middle East. DRC is on fire, Ethiopia is on fire, Somalia is on fire, Europe is on fire, America. There are so many countries they are also on fire. It is say nowhere safe and nowhere cool. On say Russia and America front talk about the world powers G8 money UN mo omushia ya omo dwen ekwanya omo de Russia for befa so no African leaders were not invited. Montie biye ba o. Mahu say assemble ya empanimfo ewiase nations are omo ammunitions, nations are omo hoden, nations who are part of the UN Security Council. Omushia ya African leaders are not or were not invited. Now so, Putin to meet now Moscow, eton safre African leaders, no America, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Hawaii, no America near Moscow because they need your resources, they need whatever you have in exchange for peanuts. Omut meet na America, ni aton safre African leaders, omut meet na France, ni aton safre African leaders. Omut meet na Beijing, ni aton safre African leaders na omut dimrika. Not because they love you, not because they want to do something for you, not because they want to help to develop Africa. No, because they want to exploit you. Omunim say, "One dream wo ha sabi ye nim nyansa enti eba resources there." Mon friend kwasiafo no na yen confuse omo na yen omo resources na emum eba se ewiase na entena se emfa adwen ensua nyansa enhwe ekwan a ye de wiase befa so de Africans are normally left out because of yesuban, because on the world stage, we have not been able to prove ourselves worthy enough to be invited to the table of men. Muntie biye pa. Me say Russia tension na ekoso no before that no ti me pese mo ti ase say ye Africa fo nso say ya empower ye ho na say ya ma Africa anya great na say nsiesie Africa na say ya dwen ye say abribia no ye betimi adwane akọ America and Europe to go and look for food. A time is coming nobody can run anywhere because nowhere will be safe and nowhere cool. Say Europe is on fire. Africa is on fire. Europe is on fire. People are running from Ukraine to seek refuge, to look for places to hide. Yeah. Enti Africa, say yema, ya drin ye say, abribiano, ya de, yebe dwania fansoso, akwa je visa, akwa pa abrofo chew, ama abrofo de sticker, aba ye passport mu, ama ye dwane, aba omu krom, aba somwo mu, ame say, a time is coming, that privilege will be no more. This is the time for Africa to build Africa. This is the time for Africans to stay in Africa and help to build our continent. This is the time for Ghanaians to stay in Ghana and help to build our countries, help to build our cities. The issue between Russia and Ukraine, they say, Russia for the target is not Ukraine. The Ukrainians are just victims of circumstances. Russia and Ukraine, difference be anymore. They are all the same people. They were part of the USSR. They were part of the Soviet Union until the Soviet Union broke away, and Ukrainians and the Georgians and the Armenians and whoever, they went to form their own countries. And the one people. There is no difference between a Russian and a Ukrainian. They are all from the same ancestors. It doesn't make sense and wouldn't make sense as a Putin will just wake up and say, I want to fight Ukraine. For what reason? Ukraine wants to align itself with the West, with NATO. Meaning say Ukraine a sovereign nation. They have the right, of course. Meaning pa me aware. Meaning say Ukraine they have the right to want to align themselves with any country, with any association of their choice. And every intelligent person, every knowledgeable person respect that. Now, so about area, there is something we call geopolitics. So about area politics, how things work in the world. That sometimes, you might have a right, but your right might be compromised. Sometimes, you might have a right. Now, so trying to exercise that right in a certain direction, can bring upon, or you can bring upon yourself certain consequences that you might not be able to bear. I will say Ukraine for TSA. May, according to me, to have Russia as an ally, to have Russia as a friend is much more better than to have the Western countries as a friend, because Russia for na money almost share border. You guys are part of Russia. You guys broke away or broke out of Russia. You have a common ancestor. You have no business with America. You have no business with Europe. Eti nyansa be wo mu say anka at least money. At least Russia for no you do things ma coexistence, healthy coexistence, any mutuality about money Russia for them than to try to do things mubenya the anger of Russians on you. Mind you say emrebia etwem Russia for ye omwa say it's on the relationship they have with Cuba and Tino. They wanted to build their nuclear arsenals and their weapons and whatever in Cuba. The Americans resisted because they said, no, young penny, Emma Russia for Emma set omu base with Cuba. It will pose a security threat to America. They did not allow it. Now, so and that true NATO, America 4% omu fa Ukraine for Adam 4. Now yet here say. So I'm for Ukraine for Adam 4. Inside the umbrella of NATO, they will tend to establish their military base in Ukraine. And Ukraine shares border with Russia. And Russians are seeing the fact they say, Samu America for man penny my your military base in Cuba there. Then why must we allow you guys to also come and establish your military base in Ukraine in the name of NATO? You guys are also posing security threat to Russia. You guys are also posing security threat to Russia. And mind you, America is a world power. Russia is equally a world power. A bad military strength, a bad military. A soldier for, a bad akundia, any a soldier for a America is America and Russia is Russia. And say America for Russia for Kong. Let us leave these two nations alone to fight. I'm telling you, say it will be bloody, because if Americans have nuclear weapons, Russians also have their own nuclear weapons. If Americans have a tough military, Russia equally has a tough military. And say America 4% on behavior as if say Abribiano, the interest of America is paramount. The same way the Russians also want the Western world to understand and know, say the interest of Russia is paramount. It cannot be compromised. And mind you, every nation or country, they have the right to make sure, say, their country is safe, their citizens are safe, they are protecting their borders, they are protecting their land. And I have seen so many hypocritical comments. I have seen so many people who don't understand the genesis of this matter. Mamenka se michro. Say ya kan omua omaha wiase.
Say ya ka omu a enam omu sunti ewiase say ya the Western world and not Russia. Munim say America for ka ho bi na Ghana, we are where we are. Munim say America for ka ho bi na Ghana yanko yanim. Ma menkyere made. Embra na Kwame Nkrumah ye president no. Kwame Nkrumah wanted to, align himself or be friends with Russia. Intimokaya. Russians were building nuclear energy in Ghana. Say on says on nam a free Legon air called Madina. Junction bo why your friend atomic. Say on my overhead atomic junction. Nienta your friend atomic junction no. Now Russia for AC atomic nuclear AEB ewo sa side ho. What ya muntie me pa. Eno ka ho bi ena ye de to Kwame Nkrumah no. Esan say na Ghana na Kwame Nkrumah ni Russia for aye one. Na Russia for air building atomic energy or Ghana nti America for ni hu said no air threat. Western world hu said no air threat. Enti no through the CIA ene abribia meka say na nado down kwa ekofo ado ni nebusuafo ka ho bi, those are the saboteurs, those are the traitors. Omo ka ho bi ena omo di to Kwame Nkrumah free so, and those nuclear or those atomic energies were destroyed because they did not want. How can you Russia come and say you want to try to equip Ghana? And to say the enemies of the world are. Don't let BBC brainwash you. Al Jazeera, CNN, all those guys are not telling you the truth. They'll give you either false or half truth. Aha, me na me ka no krena chireo. Ma me ka se mi chireo. Say omu against Yania. And then who's Africa for? Oh, we stand with Ukraine. Oh, we are praying for Ukraine. Fine, fair enough. You can go ahead and pray for Ukraine if you feel say prayers are what can stop what is going on between Russia and Ukraine. That's up to you. But my main Kai will say, you and I were here when the French and the USA people were bombarding Libya. You and I were here when the French and USA they invaded Libya, killed Gaddafi in cold blood. Gaddafi na onye boni bia bisa won say a dear excuse and American French for me we are Cynthia omugina so e cool Gaddafi free. They destroyed Libya in the name of giving Libyans a liberation, giving them democracy, and they bisa won say democracy now omo promising Libya for no away. Where is that democracy? And how do Libya now raho? And the Libya we knew years back is not the same Libya we know today. Who do Libya now raho? They destroyed Libya. They bombarded Libya and the whole African continent was quiet. And Sabreno na Gaddafi o free so as AU chairman na chair. Gaddafi was once the chairman of AU. And when Gaddafi was being chased like a rat, when Gaddafi was being killed, the whole Africa was quiet. Only J.J. Rawlings was able to speak against it. But Sabreno, J.J. was not in power. The whole continent was quiet. I never saw say people were staging demonstration in London. I never saw say people were staging demonstration in Paris to speak against the invasion of Libya. Man, who be now so and now Russia for area Ukraine. The area saying now protests everywhere. We stand with Ukraine and now the aggressor and now Putin is the bad guy. And now Putin is the bad guy because the Western media is telling you say Putin is the bad guy. Not because Putin is a bad guy. They are telling you, say, Putin is the bad guy. Mo Africa for mo ha na ye ku Gaddafi, na ye say Libya. Libya is part of the African continent. And I say Libya is in Africa. Na ye ku Libya. I never saw, say, you guys were praying, man, who said bomb for Libya? I never saw Africans say, oh, we stand with Libya. You can't do that to Libya. And a USA, you are the aggressor. And a France, you are the aggressor. I never saw anything like that. Now, so Nadia, you see, identity crisis. This is what I call identity crisis. And now, acquire Ukraine, dear, it's an hypocrisy. And the double standards in Timor, sorry, and I will start with Ukraine. May say, let me repeat myself. I am against innocent bloodshed. We are guilty, dear. And the men can say me against because he who pulls the gun must die by the gun. He who lives by the sword must die by the sword. And if you are guilty and your blood is being shed, that may come any problem. Now, so I am against the shed of innocent blood. I am not in support of war. And I'll keep saying, I am not in support of war because war does not bring anything profitable. War only profits various governments and those who manufacture weapons and guns and ammunitions and whatever. But war does not profit the ordinary people. It may be an ordinary person. I am not and will never be in support of war. Now, so those who are pointing fingers at Putin may say they are equally guilty of the same crime for which they are pointing fingers at Putin. America and the NATO and all these people, they have no right to point fingers at Putin. Say, go to DRC. DRC is burning, but you see, BBC is not talking about it. Al Jazeera is not talking about it. Western media is not talking about it because it is Africans. If they die, I mean, who cares? Who are not in Africa for the Yehuda, Mediterranean Syria dying every day. Africa for who are not there. So the Western media is not giving us even the audience. Our siblings, brothers, sisters in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, they are dying. A dear Bonina DRC for because they have diamonds. Oko DRC, the whole world, they have the largest pile, and I even like the word to use. They have the largest reserve of diamonds. And the French have taken their troops there. You see, these are the games they play. When they see that you have raw materials and they want those raw materials, they first of all create instability in your country. Then they come in the name of NATO. They come in the name of UN. Come and steal your resources in the name of giving you peace. But they are not there to give you peace. They are there because of the natural resources that they stand to gain. Etene, Yemma Macron NTS yese. Ojina Paris eto to Ayampia. Ojina Paris eto in Sao. Putin is the aggressor. Putin and Pabonina, Putin and Panadi and Dieno. His own troops, his own French troops are in Francophone Africa causing mayhem, causing havoc. They are in DRC causing mayhem, causing havoc. They are killing our people. They are killing Africans and nobody is talking about it. Because Africans lack what we call identity. They don't know who they are. We are in what I call identity crisis. We love Western people more than ourselves. Say baby also Africa, obian fa ho, even African themselves, obian ka ho asem. Emre na ye ku Libya for, emre na ye chase Gaddafi. No African leader was able to talk now. So emre Ukraine for ye chase omodie na na do akasa. Kenya mampani akasa. There are so many African leaders who have heavily criticized what is going on in Ukraine. Many problem. Menka say nia ekoso Ukraine it is if you criticize her, I stand with you now. So me say let us go back to history. Enya hypocrisy anka emra na yeku muankasa munua who was once chairman of the African Union. Emra na yeku no emra na yesai ni kuro, the whole continent was quiet. Now so ekoye Ukraine for there money ho hancho but sorry enough, the world is not even listening to you because Africa, you don't count. When we come to the world stage, Africa, you don't count because the world see you guys as beggars. The world see you guys as global beggars, like we are begging. That is why no African country is part of the UN Security Council because which weapons do you have? Your military is being sponsored by the West. And now about Francophone Africa, they have a deal with Paris. Francophone Africa, Togo, Burkina, Mali, Guinea, all these countries, Cameroon, DRC, and all these countries, they are not allowed to buy weapons from any country apart from France. Do your research. And to date, they are still paying colonial taxes to France. Mua ebesine coming to enslave Africans. Russians never came to enslave Africans. You guys came to enslave us. You forced your language on us. You forced your identity on us. You forced your culture on us. You forced your religion on us. The Russians never came to Africa to colonize. The Russians never came to Africa to force us to speak Russian. Now, so you guys did all this. You guys committed all these atrocities against Africa. Muri and Mokono and Amosaka almost say, for we coming to at least colonize you, for we coming to at least enslave you every year, you guys must pay us colonial taxes, and you don't see this as evil, but you see somebody who is just fighting to protect his borders evil. Mewa. Nia French for the year mo, nia Britain for the year mo de who ni say evil. And no there, you guys don't see the need to talk about it. Now so Obia or Russia or say on my whole coin Emma NATO for a many shares so and unti all condie. And you are saying na and I put in on ye and I put in on I put in and I said the more target of the aggressor. Mameka se mitremo. Eya munsia de. Eya munsia de. There is more to life. There is more to fact than what you guys watch or see on BBC. BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, all these media stations or giant media houses are puppets of the West. Now, so most of you don't know. These media houses are puppets of the West. So must study a corner say a course between Russia and Ukraine. No? They are only giving the side of Russia. Say, oh, and a Russia for tank bako, you shooting it down. And a Russia for army B, you season no, you bono. And a Russia for you say, and a Russia for you say, they are not giving you what is happening to the Ukrainian army. They are only concentrating on what is happening to the Russian army. They are not concentrating on what is happening to the Ukrainian army. They are giving audience to the Ukrainians to speak. They are not giving the same audience to the Russians to speak. Don't follow these guys blindly. Me share BBC. Me share CNN. I watch all this foreign media. Now so me inform dream near chire. Semitie or more. I go back to the drawing board and do my research and apply common sense and logic to ascertain the fact to say. And someone now almost catch them no cry na say enya no cry. I don't just sit down and consume everything they tell me or consume every message they put out there. There be that. And there is not even a single refugee camp created by Russia. Mami infoni wenchiremo. Samure fia me kai mu se infoni a mu hwe Iraq. Infoni a mu hwe Iraq. Na enye say na Iraq tie. Na enye say na Iraq for country no etie. Ehemfo na say Iraq the so-called NATO. The so-called Western world. Almighty America magiatum. Yemi si ho say edie nyina so na America for gina so a omude say Iraq. Ewiase nyina tenase. Na ejitu mu say America for ye mama ho kwan say monkwa Iraq enkoku Iraq for na say America for na edi omutumi and the whole world was quiet. Ento pesa wo kire me say Ukraine for the life of Ukrainians is more important than the life of those in Iraq. Look at Iraq. Look at how they destroyed Iraq. And the whole world was quiet. The Western media was quiet. I know there, Boris Johnson, we are going to give America sanctions. If we are saying now, you can't say and conform my say US. Now so America sanctions that. Abribiano, they do anything they want and get away with it. Edientina I was a basa. We are say I'm no crap. Nasi ya hypocrisy. Nasi yamfa ya double standards no anto baby. I say we are sway. Young quiet ni muda. We are sway. You best say no. Because of hypocrisy of our government, stupidity of the people, this world will never move forward. Infonia me de tremwi. Infonia me de tremwi. Iraq. Look at how Iraq was bombarded. And then social news social news now yakasa and now Putin is bombing women and children, bombing orphanages, serving predators. Who in his right senses will target orphanages? The war or the invasion of Russia, Russia, they are not even targeting Ukrainians. They are not targeting the people. They are only targeting their military base. Senka a full-blown war. And a Russia for year or more than say, Ukraine for a full-blown war. Believe you me, by now, the war would have been over because there is no way Ukrainians can fight Russians. I'm telling you the fact. Any full-blown war. They are only targeting their weapons. They are only targeting their military base. A posted threat to Russia. They are not targeting the people. Me say, Senka dia almost targeting Ukraine for targeting Omano. Aya omwa say, omuni omo 100%. Anka by now Ukraine would have been a thing of the past. Anka Ukrainians would have gone into extinction. Believe you me. Me ka no kra na kire mo. Believe you me. I won. E wi ase yam pa no kra. O ka no kra pe. Jania o ka yam pa no kra. Me ka no kra na kire wo. Near Russia for can say we don't want NATO on our soil. We don't want NATO near our borders. Is it something too big to ask? Or the so-called NATO, the so-called civilized world ignored the pleas of Russia. So Russia had no option than to take this step. I know they say we are saying now. People are demonstrating in Paris. They are demonstrating where they are doing all sorts of things. But you know, this war could have been prevented. You see, Ukraine man penning or a mistake. Or the Western people at that dano. Yeah, no job and a call or fight for your right and a call. O nim se nim mine our say no. Anya she crampono. Onsia bibin free Libya ho. Omo da Libya for e brainwashing Libya for e ma Libya for e rising against Gaddafi no and the Libya for nyaya nanka Gaddafi osatiase and the Libya for nyaya nanka Gaddafi osatiase na so aye too late ya ku Gaddafi awie ya say Libya awie bisa wo say e de mfaso e na Libya for nya e America and France invading Libya. And the faso no munyaye. And the brand no bre. And the Libyans have to kill to buy gas. Libyans have to kill to buy everything. Those days, gas was flowing through pipes to their homes. Like they do in the Western world. Like they do in UK, in Germany, in America, in all these so-called advanced countries. Oh yeah, obisi I na say and America for crampono oma yen Africa for the chance to come to their country to come and have jobs through their lotto and whatever. You see, this is a poor man's mentality. This is a poor man's ideology. This is a poor man's way of reasoning. Say America for Africa for quine eba American tea say America for Jimmy Cra ema will be anka ho asem. A poverty mentality. Senka enye the doings of the Western world against Africa. Senka enye the doings of imperialism against Africa. And anka omo bua Africa, ema Africa call anymore. Anka no African will run to go and serve them or to go and look for a plate of food in America. There are so many Ghanaians who are in US. It's not because they want to be in US and also because we are brutal. They are in US because they have no option. They are victims of circumstances. They are in US because of the same doings of this Western world or this so-called NATO people or the Western countries. By instance, most of you are adamant to learn. Mon pa disuya. Yakase munsuya dia asenya ye yemo. Yakase munsuya dia asenya ye di watem. But these are the realities. Adam ye video me kira mo se Putin ni nuclear weapon na your friend say tantu na enie. Aha, when your friend say tantu no. Na me kana ibinu free say media agro. When your friend say tantu no. Aha, Putin ni nuclear weapon na your friend say tantu no enie. This is what we call Satan 2. It won't say ewiase obi akwa nanimu. These guys are not praying. These guys are not depending on God. These guys are not praying to God. These guys are not waiting on God. They are making ammunitions. They are making nuclear weapons. They are making weapons. Life is all about dominance. Life is all about survival. Life is all about control. The intelligent nations, they are doing whatever they can to control the world. They are doing whatever they can to be recognized. But Africans are here praying. Africans are here praying to God and looking up to God. Minuya. Says here, Russia and Ukraine for Ntemui. If Ukrainians are to wait on God and look up to God, every Ukrainian will die. Nobody will save them. No reality. And I'm on penocre. If the Ukrainians are to look, are to wait on God and for God to save them, I may say every Ukrainian will die. Nobody will save them. Every Ukrainian will die. They have to fight for themselves. What you must hear? They have to fight for themselves. Huh? Mami my dear. Mami bisa us a question. We say Afghanistan. Huh? Edian Afghanistan for year yentia ema America for invade. And see these images. Why na nyama reho because Afghanistan for the omunye nipa. Ukraine for nipa che Afghanistan for me wa. Ukraine for nipa che Afghanistan for. She Western world no havoc o ma cause o wiase. Me bisa say Russia for dear havoc na o mo cause. Mempa double standards. Mempa hypocrisy and a mempa troll. Let me repeat myself say I am not in support of what is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Me eka me kunanka Russia for Ukraine for atnase. I solve their issue amicably. I am not in support now. So near I am a hypocrisy cause in our media. Near I am a here just a yama before the hypocrisy of the Western world. And una men pekreti and una eme here me bufu. You are guilty. You guys invaded Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, all these countries, Vietnam. You have caused so many havoc in the world, around the world. And today, which moral right? Which moral right does America, France, and the UK have to point fingers at Putin? Which moral right? Your hands are your hands, Your hands are full of blood. Your systems are full of blood. Your economies are full of blood. The blood of Africans are still crying against you. The blood of Africans are still crying for justice. Nobody's talking about it. Africa, as they say, Mokasano, we have our own issues here in Africa. Unim, we are at war already. Africans have always been at war. We have war. We are at war with hunger. We are at war with imperialism. We are at war with unemployment. We are at war with malaria mosquitoes. We are at war with instability. We are at war with hunger. We are at war with, the depreciation of our currencies. We are at war with just a political instability. Africans are at war with racism. We are at war with everything. But who say area now demonstrations so and I may catch them with say DRC is burning. Why are they not demonstrating in France? Why are they not demonstrating in Paris, in London, at least in solidarity to stand with our brothers in DRC who are dying every day of hunger or starvation because of the insatiable quest of these so-called Western powers for our resources, for our diamond, because they don't care about you. Whether we die or live, they don't care. They care about those they care about. They care about those they care about. It is the whole world will come together. Oh, Ukraine, we stand with you. Oh no, Ukraine, oh no. There are so many things happening in Africa. They don't care. Every year, do you know how many Africans die on the ocean? Do you know how many Africans are murdered? Do you know how many Africans are killed? Do you know how many Africans are dying of starvation? Women, children, everybody is dying. 1 minute old children, 2 minutes old children, 5 days old children, 10 days old children are dying of hunger and starvation in Africa, and nobody is talking about it. Monkosha ni ayekos Somalia. Monkosha ni ayekos ewo DRC. Obiamfa ho. Because South African poor xenophobia na ekoso. They only do their xenophobia against their fellow black people. Oh no, we don't have problem with the whites. They are investors. They are here to help South Africans. Oh, they don't do bad things. But the Nigerians, the Ghanaians are evil. They are taking our women and they are doing drugs. They are doing whatever. Jimienti. Abrofuni, they are investors. Doing nothing in their countries. Abrofuna. Are creating poverty between white South Africans and black South Africans. Abrofunua. South Africa mumienu. South Africa is divided into two. We have the black section, which is very poor and impoverished. Now so called baby abrofone dia so luxurious ujina ho na so picture e de kire obi say wo Europe obegye di. Now so they don't rise against them wo abrofona omo say omo abrabo abrofona omo say South Africa no the South Africans don't rise against them, they rise against their fellow black people who are there to hustle. Identity crisis ye no ye ho yempa ye ho ye tan ye ho esa jimie any gross stupidity nti abribia no we are taking advantage of. Should anything happen, me nka say bibi science, but should this tension between Russia and Ukraine escalate into, let me say, a third world war, you Africans will not fight. The British will come to English speaking Africa, come for your soldiers to go and fight for them. The French will come for you to go and fight for them. At the end of the day, should they win the war, their names will go down in history. Say the French, the Germans, the Americans won the World War III. The names of Africans will never be mentioned in history. Second World War, of course, Africans played a critical role because African soldiers fought for the Western world. By the say history, the names of Africans are not mentioned. You about Hitler, ni about US. Ni abo UK, ni abo hwan. Do you hear them mentioning Ghana? Do you hear them mentioning Nigeria? Do you hear them mentioning DR Congo? Do you hear them mentioning Burkina Faso? No. They came for your soldiers. Your soldiers went to do the dirty job. But about history, their names will not be mentioned because you fought for your slave master. You fought for your imperialists. You fought for the people who came to colonize you. You fought on their behalf. Eti ekosi daben, eti munsue nyansa. Eti mon wise up, mumma yeni mie kakra. Mumma yeni emie kakra. Ha, eti mumma yeni emie kakra. Ene Akufo-Addo tio. Ena wanya hona chese or condemn the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Forgetting the fact that say there are so many Ghanaian students who are trapped in Ukraine. The government is doing nothing about India for friends. India for aqua Ukraine, aqua for Omonko for America for Obiafan in call for Aka Africa. Akufo-Addo is doing nothing. Nigeria they are doing nothing. Africa is doing nothing. Say Oliver Barker or Yarida South. Yeah man ho kwan krama onkwaje ne ho ayaresa. Akufo-Addo abansi there be that Oliver is dying in assignment cells. Oliver Barker is dying in assignment cells. A dear bonnie noye. Simply because say or throw social media say cool no Ghana asoja fo anya mia kasa meye. Eno kekentino ya cheno or ya rio. Ye man ho kwan man nkono para keke crampo no Akufo-Addo abansi yempene. A dear bonnie. And you have the moral right. You have the effrontery. On ferry home to point fingers. To condemn Putin, condemn yourself, condemn your government for being so incompetent, condemn you and your family, condemn your people, the people around you, condemn the NPP government for being so incompetent, condemn your government for being in power and watching the Chinese destroy your lands, condemn yourselves. But not like you see, you're penocrat. You guys must learn to educate yourselves. So the problem is not with Russia. The problem is with the Western world. The problem is with NATO. Akofabai. Enko emrani na ko nimo obi o chese obi akowu ayekra homo with the so-called Western world. Obi akowu country bi akowu ayekra homo. Country bi akowu ayekra homo. How many times having these guys invaded so many countries? And you don't talk about it. You don't say yeah. You don't criticize it. Eba Africa no be being so sad. Me emra na yeku Gaddafi. Eya me ya. Ebe sine adiba ko eya me ya pa the murder of Gaddafi. Eya me ya. I don't care whatever Gaddafi was doing to black people. And we are here say meaning, but the point they say whether Gaddafi liked Africans or black people or not, whether Gaddafi loved sub-Saharan Africans or not, the major point they say Gaddafi was building Libya. Gaddafi was caring for his people. Gaddafi was defending Libya. Gaddafi was making Libya progress, and that's the most important thing. May Abribia, I am of the opinion, say, if you are able to help yourself, Sawutimi ekwa ejina baby na se me wemwa me kra me mfa ho, because once a watimi asolve one kasa wo hunger issue no echine bi, you will not pull the gun and point at my head. So if you are able to help yourself, even if you don't help me, I am okay with that. It is an Libya for crampon air bois omo. Na se na omo moa other Africans a crampua. Memfa ho. Once they were able to help themselves, that is the whole thing. Not to share. NATO 4 years, USA 4 years, French 4 years, they came to Libya, they destroyed Libya with no reason, with no justification. And then Libya has over 7 governments. And the terrorists have taken over Libya. A dear bonnet and a Libya 4 years, a dear bonnet and a Iraq 4 years, a dear bonnet and Afghanistan 4 years, a dear bonnet and a Syria 4 years, a dear bonnet and a Vietnam 4 years, a dear bonnet and all these countries, Cuba, a dear bonnet and a Cuba 4 years. And today you guys have the moral right to point fingers at Putin because the Western world is a Putin yet. I don't follow the Western media. I don't follow the Western world. You can't confuse me. The 20th century history is all over the internet. So I don't need the BBC to, give me education. I don't need the CNN to educate me. I can sit down, do my research and educate myself. Yentna sina yen solve issue no. Si a person in Riasi, yenya asumdwea. Yentna sina yen solve the issue from the root. Yen to asemna say from the root. Ema yen twan fin. Sa sanctions na omo ye no. They are only solving the issue from the middle. Mo ye ne sa mon solve asem no. Should Putin even decide, because of the pressure that comes with the sanctions, decide to retreat ne asoja for from Ukraine, asemono and solve the hatred between, and I said the anger between the Ukrainians and the Russians will still be there. Sit the two parties down and solve the issue amicably. Let us put our egos aside. We are too full of ego. We are too full of, and I mean I'm control, we are say, and I mean I'm here power, and I mean I'm here world power, and I mean I'm here saying, sad, and where we are say. And now you guys have all the nuclear weapons. America 4 will be, North Korea will be, China 4 will be, Russia 4 will be, UK 4 will be, why will be. Okay, Muina will be Anthony there. Where will the world be? Muina, Russia fonto, America fonto, North Korea fonto, China fonto, Muina will be Anthony nuclear weapon. Humanity will go into extinction. Will say, there are certain weapons, you guys have it, but you can't even use it because destruction no is too much for the human race to bear. It's a DNT and a montenasi. Mon famu ego and ton chain, na mon kasa amicably. A DNT, a dear time. A dear time. And Africans are here praying. Yeah, Mobo. Africa for whatever American. Yeah, Mobo Papa. And Africans are here praying. Africans are here praying. Look at them. Africans are here praying. Obompire for Ukraine. Now so, wa mompire ama Libya. Omompire ema Syria for. Omompire ema Ethiopia for. Omompire ema DRC. Omompire ema Africa braye breno. Omompire ba yen. And I don't blame them because Abrafonu by Africa to lie to us and say, prayer is the key, prayer is the key, prayer is the master key. Jesus fasted with prayer and then there with prayer. Prayer is the master key. Abrafonu by Africa, be catch black people say prayer is the master key. Abrafonu by Africa, they came to lie to you, say prayer is the master key. Tibibini Adrian they say he can solve every problem with prayer. It's a binum air weapons, so no blacks are here praying, and they don't even pray for themselves. So they always pray for their slave masters. They always pray for the imperialists. They always pray for those who came to colonize them, those who came to perpetuate evil against them. Ya jeno asay. Yadwe no, yadwe we asay. We have to learn to reboot our brains. Let us begin to think. Let us begin to think outside the box. Let us begin to think as rational human beings. Let us begin to think. Bibini beden wo wiase. Ene ya Al Jazeera NATO for Asia says they are going to supply Ukrainians with weapons to fight against the Russians. And the Ukrainian leader has said, they say, or army even civilians or to be able to fight for their country. Forgetting the fact, they say, the more you arm the ordinary people, the more you arm the citizens, the more you arm terrorists. Because giving guns and weapons to the ordinary people can easily end up in the hands of terrorists. You think that you fight the war today and win, but you live to fight terrorism tomorrow, because the guns that you gave to the citizens have ended up in the hands of terrorists, in the hands of rebel groups. Because of we are so arrogant, we are so pompous. It is a Oma obia etuo na se war no ekwa wie ya. How do you deal with the arms in the hands of the ordinary people? And you are there. You are there. So many people are dying. So many people are dying all over the world. Now so you have the money. You have the finances to send weapons, buy weapons and give to Ukrainians to do what? Instead of you guys to sit down and say, no, Ukraine for Putin, Branian Kasa. You see, you guys are brothers. You can't be fighting like this. It's an arrogance. It's a mini-munti. Na entokwa biya ba efiri omo. Ewi ase bonia ekoso nya efiri omo. And you are here praying. You are here praying for who? Yeah, mo bo. Yeah, na me hu mfoni bi say ya na chese me ra hwa ma Africa. Yeah, mo bo. Yeah, mo bo papa o. Yeah, mo bo rough. Yeah, mo bo. So ko news mu na he Ghana for esu. Ewa Ukraine na ora ho se chese ubisa nature kra se, why did you end up in Ghana? And cause nature my choice. Say be a George, ye be wo me do ko Ghana opa na sa umpe na kwaka say oh okay nature Ghana there no Ghana share. Ekufuado minor Debbie e ye de me pe e enye kra omanya ya chi Ghana ni e che ho a ni e ja ho so nko ni e chi Ghana ni de Debbie me pe e be ya nka fa me ko just North Korea cry better. Say me ko Ghana party ka me ko North Korea. Say me ko Ghana party ka me ko Japan. Fa me ko krom Ghana party me pet nanka ma make me choice. Now so sad enough nature anya ni sa wo ho ani a wo be pie say ehfa ni obeti hey woman no way fufuo no way wo say hey hin me pie yes Ghana na wo do mo fia ye mewu na ye too late na Ghana en wa lande hwe ye bia ene ete bia ebinum ekono ye bompaye ebinum ekra weapons no ye bompaye because abrofo na be kire mpaye bo say bibia prayer is the key to everything. That is why Africa is poor. That is why we are backward. That is why we are not progressing. It mesremo miseducation no endorse too much. Brainwashing no endorse and mamma Western media and brainwashing more. Get the facts. Learn Monsieur dear. Say America ampene ama Russia. Am fa omu weapons. Am a create military base in Cuba because America for who say Russians coming to create military base in Cuba a pose threat to their sovereignty there. Then why do you think Putin must sit down for NATO to come and create their military base in Ukraine? Double standards and solve the problem. Hypocrisy and solve the problem. Yen cannot cry. And no cry back. The truth is truth. No cry back. Yet no cry na solve the problem. Enya hypocrisy. Yet no cry na solve the problem. Enya atro. Yet no cry na solve the problem. Enya double standards. Yen cannot cry. Russia for nipa. Russia for nipa. Ukraine for nipa. Adan yem pen no cresa. America for kwaye dia liberation. America for kwaye dia eye. Yenya omo. Oh, they are helping the world. Oh, they are fighting terrorism. And they are fighting wine and they are fighting wine. Russia for kwaye dia and they are bad or a dictator or a evil man or a warmonger and or a yeah man is so many names because we are saying pen no cre. And Otiania kind of cre on social media no. Look at the number of followers we have. And compare that to those who are doing propaganda on social media. They have a lot of followers because they don't hit the nail on the head. Because most people don't appreciate the truth. Make us say, make no criteria, we will be born fool. When you cry punch, bomb us to because free mind they cannot cry. I don't yam pen cray, sir. For yam pen cray. Now Africa for and Tokwana air cosun, yes, shall be free musa say, and see Africa. Na say Maya Jane yes, say yam penny for na biano. Mobefa yesika edi akoto foreign accounts mo. Mobeto adan e broni krom. Na yenso yebe dwane akotena broni krom. Yebe dwane akosike medical services e broni krom mo. A time is coming. That privilege will be no more because now everywhere is burning. The world is being engulfed in problems. There are so many problems everywhere. Americans have their own problems. Europeans are having their own problems. We Africans cry the bobo. The Asians are having their own problems. The Arabs are having their own problems. Everybody, every continent is having its own problem. The Australians are having their own problems. Bushfires near the obia one how. It is a menu me no ya bang. Ya antrase rain and find a solution to our problems. Ma Africans yani anka ha. Entimi antina Africa. A time is coming. If we are say kwa yentimi nkobi. A bedroom may be yanhwe ya America for be dwane akotena space. Russia for be dwane akotena space. And they will call ISS International Space Station. America for chefa wom. US for Russia for chefa wom. UK for near the obia wa chefa wom na so Africa country bianka ho. Antarctica continent or matcha fa yenka ho enti yanhwe ya omuko space yenkobi. Enti yanhwe ya a time is coming. Omo ina be say asase we edwane akotena space yentimi nkobi because we don't have the technology. Inti ensu nyansa bibi emfiri mu. Na yentimi emwa ye ban. Yentimi emwa ye continent. Sene ba yenso ewiase ina betimi ebu yen. Omo kwa yenso yebetimi akobi. Omo tu a yenso yebetimi atiem. I'm looking forward to a time where at least yebenya one African country being called a developed country. At least one African country to be part of the UN Security Council. Yemwaye yefanya hwe because yeni hwe no so yeni hwe omo ka ho bintina yeni hwe. Mo sorry so amunsua de. Mo sorry so amunsua de. Mo mpa de sua. Ni amuni mu ane say BBC for aka, Al Jazeera for aka, CNN for aka, inti anokre. There be. It's not everything you watch on BBC. Not everything you watch on CNN. Not everything you watch on Al Jazeera is the truth. Most of their news and whatever are Western propaganda. Nothing more, nothing less. And until master their Facebook, o kind of cry na your block account. YouTube, o kind of cry na your block. Because they only want the kind of news which will favor them to go out there. News are a bit challenging the thinking of the masses. News are a bit be amount for any day, and they don't want it. So how can such media group be free and fair? In moving forward, they know at least Africans will not remain slaves to the Western world. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Carl Boma, thank you so much. Joyce Vomawo, thank you so much. Okay, and all right. Medamu inama sebusian for have a lovely night. Me had a najo intimenkan have a good night, have a good evening, and have a sound sleep. Ahaya ena medemo ABC. Sanya mu ina mu nimno medin the chairman Freemind. Yebesa nso ehye biem. Bakramo.